Continuing with the Proverbs from chapter 10, verse 12. A hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. So I think that also shows the heart of God as well in here, that Jesus covered all our sins, and that's how he showed his love for us. He died for us, and he covered it. And I think that covering is not something sort of hiding in a sense, but more of a bringing to light and sort of paying, like sort of giving forgiveness. And I think that this is, very clear when somebody hates something or somebody, it stirs things up and it causes strife. But I think the covering is way more misunderstood concept. I notice that people think that it's to be passive, and even if you see that wrong is happening, is to sort of like hide it under the blanket, under the surface. So they think it's covering the sin, and that's love. But that's not love, actually. That's fear. Real love is actually like in other Bible places. It says there's a couple of places that says that through truth and mercy, that throne is established. But so it means covering is sort of more like a paying, forgiving. You sort of like if it's not a big deal, of course you just forget it, let it go. It's not a big deal. But if something that you see habitually, somebody's doing something, and they need help, so it's sort of like a bringing to surface more of in a loving way, and then to them that they would know that they're doing something wrong, because somebody just doing wrong without knowing that they're doing wrong. So I think that is you bring to surface and then show forgiveness and mercy, and at the same time communicating the truth that, hey, if you continue this way, it's a destructive thing, and you're gonna hurt many people and destroy your own life if you continue with this kind of sin. If it's sort of like a somebody's drinking or and doing awful things or using drugs or whatever is the situation, it's important to bring to surface and show mercy, but show also what might go if they continue on the path. And I think that um, from my mother maybe would be one good example, that when I was teenager, I was maybe just turned 18, or I guess I was just 18 or 19, because we were partying with some friends, and we had the sort of like a guest house, and I had some friends over in the guest house. It's very close to my parents, close to garage. There was one sort of like apartment. My aunt renovated, but it was also used for the guests. So um, so we were partying there and drinking a lot, uh, and then one friend who was quite drunk told to me that my mother is waiting and asking me to come out. So I came out, and my mom just looked at me and said, you see this and she mentions specific individual who was like a drunk in the village, and she said that soon you will be leaving our home, because I was 18 and I was about to go to university, and I was still in the 12th grade that time, and um, and then she was saying that um, you have to make your own choices, and you will be responsible for your own life. But if you continue on the path you're going, you end up being a drunk like this so and so. And then she walked away, and it hit me so strongly. She showed mercy. She didn't shout at me. She didn't. So she showed mercy. She kind of said that she covered it. She didn't try to fix me up. She didn't try to stop the party, but she showed mercy in that sense. But she still told the truth. And man, it hit me so strongly that the sense of responsibility, the weight of responsibility, that just dropped on me like a ton of bricks. And actually, after a while, it bothered me. It really bothered me. I was like, man, it would be better if she would have shouted at me, because this way she gave responsibility on my shoulders. There was still like a mercy in what she didn't. Like she could easily kick my friends out and said like party is over, but there was a sort of like a mercy. She didn't shame me in front of all the friends. She asked me privately to come aside. So in a way, it's sort of a covering, like she didn't make me look bad in front of others. But at the same time, she told the truth, and eventually I straightened out. The Lord set me free from all the stuff. I don't drink at all anymore, and I have been drinking for maybe like probably 15 years, or at least 10 years. I haven't even tasted any alcohol of any sort. I just don't want to drink, and because I feel it doesn't lead anywhere good, and I don't need drink to be happy. I'm happy in the Lord. So I think it's nice, but I think that's what means more of covering all sins, that we don't shame people, we don't show wrong, but we still tell the truth. And that really like shows love, that somebody care enough to tell the truth, and still cover it in a way, but still tell the truth. I think that's very important, because I notice some people think that covering the sins, it means you don't mention it, you don't say anything about it. Uh, but then it kind of enables them to keep sinning, because they say, well, they didn't say anything, they didn't correct me, they didn't even show anything that they think it's even wrong. I feel that it's probably wrong, but nobody says anything, so people continue their ways. But if somebody confronts them, but still doesn't in a loving way, then things really can change. But continuing with verse 13, in the lips of him that has understanding, wisdom is found, but a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. In here talks about, if you gain understanding from the Lord, your mouth starts to speak the stuff what the Lord reveals. So, and that can be perceived as wisdom. But if you don't engage in learning, in growing in the things of God, eventually we will end up under, and maybe not with a rod on the back, but in a sense, well, technically, if you think about it, if people don't follow wisdom and guidance, and don't see what they're doing, and if they don't go in the wrong way, they end up in jails, end up in all kind of problematic situations, and then either they're uh, if if people found themselves in a sort of hard situations at work, if they slack or do wrong things, don't listen, so then uh, the strong discipline is applied many times on them by the employers, or by the government, or whatever. So it's important to walk in wisdom, and understand and learn things, and you actually gain more freedom, even though at first feels like binding to know all these different things, and why shouldn't I just want to live free, I just don't want to learn all these new rules or whatever, or okay, God created some way, but I just want to live my way. Well, then eventually you're gonna get beaten by life, and this pride leads to destruction, and leads to really horrible situations. And at best you're gonna be enslaved in a horrible situation in the workplace and in the family or whatever, but at the worst case, it leads to a jail cell. But if we live righteously, understand the right things of the Lord, and then speak that wisdom, then we have grace and we have favor, and actually we gain more freedom. And that's really a pleasant and great things to see and to have in life. And this is what I want to share with you today, and God bless you.